And I used to like mom. Yeah, but then mom said after like every single Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday? So you were an Algebra-1, right? What did you guys do?
I landed on my knee.
How long did you
Play basketball.
Not today.
You can abstract multiplying by positive.
Yeah, Ryan. No.
I wouldn't like that. That would be very sad.
No, I really. Why don't know if we
All right, homework's out, yes? Bell just rung, correct? Can I imagine that?
I didn't hear it.
I could be wrong.
What time's class supposed to
All right, say hello, e-learners.
Go away!
What the heck?
Go away!
Is that again?
I mean,
This isn't even
I mean,
just say go away.
I mean,
I'll be honest.
All right, Rylan,
yeah.
please stop.
Okay.
All right, any questions on the homework before we grade it?
No. Yes.
Number, let's take a look at number 8. Nummer 8. Auf Deutsch. All right, number 8. Page 47. I'm sure you're used to doing homework every night, yes? Number 8. So, ugly fractions. Haley, look at the denominators of every one of those fractions. Read them to me. The denominator. Denominators. You're reading numerators. Notice, 2 of them have a denominator of an and the other 2 have a denominator of a. Combine the ones that have 8s, combine the ones that have 5s. You'll notice they're just one off from each other for the numerators. Turns into a whole number. That's how often is that going to happen? Never, except in this one section. So enjoy it while it lasted, because it won't happen again. Okay, anybody else? All right, I know you guys just got back from PE, but let's get the shirts all tucked in, please. Chris and Kristen.
Oh, I'm not alone.
All right, here we go. Grade your papers. Number 2, 900. Number 4, 9,000. Are you guys looking at your papers? Some of you are not. Number 6, big number, 30,600. That's huge. Number 8, all those fractions turn into 62. Very good. Number 10 is 19. All those decimals, once again, turn into whole numbers. That doesn't happen often. Number 12, 9z plus 12. Now, if you put 12 plus 9z, that's fine. Landon, whatever you're doing, please stop. Number 14, 3w plus 7, or 7 plus 3w. Number 16 is 12n. Number 18 is 24mn. Number 20 is 72 PQR. Number 22 is x plus y plus 11. Any order you want, commutative. You put, x plus 11 plus y, same thing. 24, 9m plus 7n plus 5. 29, commutative. 30 is associative. 31 is commutative. And 33 is associative. That all sound familiar? Something done before? All right. Chris, grab the Algebra 1 box, please. Rowan, give me a hand.
Mr. C.
Yes.
What was 8 and 10?
Number 8 was 62, and number 10 was 19.
Okay. Thank you.
Same. It's Sierra and who's online right now? Sierra and who else?
Haley.
Haley? I thought there were 3 of you. Okay.
Did she hear us?
Yes.
Hi.
No, I don't have the camera on. She's watching the whiteboard. Okay, everybody look at the whiteboard, please. So calendar, we have nothing. We have a quiz next Wednesday. And then 2 weeks from now-ish, we have a test on Tuesday. So not much going on next week. And remember, we got a 3-day weekend this weekend. All right, homework for tonight. Copy it down. So every day I'll give you a sheet like this. I just find this easier than saying, all right, I'm going to do this one thing.
You can do it during class. I'm just stupid. Yeah. Oh. That was so mean. I'm sorry.
Josie,
And it's not crazy.
draw on your face and you call yourself quirky.
Draw on my face.
Okay, time out. Time out. Kristen, you still haven't done what I asked you to do. Shirt. Tuck your shirt in.
Maybe Josie is right.
Okay, up here, please. So today, we're going to do a class that some of you have already mastered, right? It's basically, today we're going to do addition of integers, and then tomorrow we'll do subtraction, and Thursday will be multiplication. I don't know if we do multiplication and division the same day, Landon. Okay. So for those of you that today is a class, you're like, oh my word, I already know how to do this, I apologize, right? In this class, as we sit right now, there are multiple people that this is something they still struggle at. Like last year, they didn't master it, right? This year, you have to master it. There's no getting away with it. Every single day, we'll have positive and negative numbers. Every day. On every calculation we do, we'll have a positive and negative. Most of the time, more than one. You got to master this stuff. So my deal to you is this. I'm gonna go through this class not quickly, but fast enough. If this is the thing you're like, okay, I don't know how to do this. I got to start seeing you for tutoring. I can't spend time in class to go over the rules again. I will go over the rules today for adding, tomorrow subtraction. Everybody gets multiplication and division. But adding and subtracting are the butt kickers. I mean, they're the ones that everyone struggles with when you're first learning it. If you haven't mastered this, if those rules aren't already in your head, like, yeah, I can do any adding or subtracting of positive and negative numbers, then this is your thing you got to fix this year. You won't pass Algebra 1 if you can't do this. Like, straight up. You're not going to pass Algebra 1 if you can't add or subtract positive and negative numbers. I'm not talking about you make a mistake now and then, but if you don't know the rules. Here we go. So we're going to start off with addition. Tomorrow we'll do subtraction, so forth and so on. I know I said that twice. Here we go. All right, 4 objectives. We're going to start off with the integers because really what we're talking about is operations with integers. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So what's an integer? Remember, we had the caveman, cavewoman, cave kid numbers. Those are called the counting numbers, 1, 2, 3. We add 0 to them. We get the whole numbers. The opposite of the natural numbers are, well, what's the opposite of 1?
-1.
Opposite of 2.
-2.
We do all of that together and include 0 in yellow here, please. Write that down, box 1. We get what are called the integers. So when did I have this memorized? Well, sometime in high school. I'm not sure if it was freshman year, but at some point when the teacher would say integers, I would know what they were talking about. Maybe that's not this year. You can certainly pass Algebra 1 and not know what an integer is, but you can't pass Algebra 1 if you don't know how to do math with integers. The first chapter of every single math course you take, we'll talk about what are the integers. Next year in geometry, we'll say integers. Next year, or the year after that in Algebra 2, we'll talk about integers. And if you take pre-calculus, we'll talk about the integers. You take statistics, we probably won't talk about integers. Okay, So today we're going to be doing math with integers. All we're doing is adding today. We're going to be adding integers. Those are the natural numbers, the counting numbers. They're opposites and 0. We okay? All right, moving on. Since you were just, if it's something I want you to write down, I typically always put it in yellow. All right, here's the game. You remember this class from last year? I said addition is like grouping things together. These are exactly the same slides that I used in pre-algebra. I'm not going to do anything different than I did in pre-algebra. It's the same class. So addition is like grouping things together. How many numbers do you have? Pick a number. How many numbers do you have? Pick a number. If I take 3 and 4 and I push them together into a group, how many numbers do I have?
7.
That's 7. That's what addition is. It's grouping, right? The game I'm going to play is called the coin game. I don't know if you had a math teacher that ever did this to you, but this is called counting with coins. We have 2 types of coins. Chris, you paying attention? Right? We have a coin that represents positive numbers, right? We'll make a circle with a yellow circle with a plus on it. And we have coins that represent negative numbers. What will that circle look like? Right, and I'm going to make it blue or purple, whatever, right? This is the game. I'm going to do math with coins, right? This means the number +1. This means the number -1, okay? Yep. Returning students, remember this from last year?
Yes.
Okay. So, how would we write +2 with these coins?
2 2s.
2 pluses, right? 1, 2.
Yep.
How would we write -2?
2 minus.
All right, you got the game. I said that addition is grouping. Grouping is pushing coins together and counting, okay? So let's add. What am I adding here?
-7 and -4.
I'm adding -7, -4. How do I know I'm adding here, by the way? Because there's a plus right there, right? Addition means grouping, means pushing things together. So, how many coins do I need?
7.
What kind of coins?
-7.
How many coins do I need?
-4.
So there's my 2 piles. My first pile, since I'm adding, right, has 7 negative coins in them. My second pile has 4 negative coins. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm getting tired already. And my second one has, to that I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. Addition is grouping, push them together. I'm literally going to push them together and count. So I'll push them together, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many coins do I have?
-11.
I have 11 negative coins, therefore -7 plus -4 works every time. Works every time. I got 11 coins, but they're negative, so the answer is -11. Does the coin method work for addition?
Yes.
Heck yeah, it does. Every time. How about this?
+3s and 4 -4s.
Okay, so let's see. I need 3 pi, 1, 2, 3, and I need 4 negative coins. Suspiciously, I've already pushed them together. What did this one coin represent? What number?
Plus.
What did this represent?
Negative.
-1. What's 1 minus 1?
-1. I mean 0.
So it goes away. What's 1 minus 1?
0.
What's 1 minus 1?
0.
So what are we left with? So what's 4 plus, I'm sorry, what's 3 plus -4? Does the coin method get you the right answer? Every single time the coin method works. So let's do one together, box 2. Using the coin method, I will not make you do too many of these. Don't panic. What are we adding here? What are we grouping?
2 and then
2 and then.
Give me 2 small positive coins and
-4.
4 negative coins. Do this. I'm only going to make you do it twice. Here's my 2 positive coins. Next to it, I kind of pair up my negative coins.
The answer is
I know, hold on. 1 minus 1.
0.
1 minus 1.
0.
What are we left with?
2.
2 what kind of coins?
Negatives.
Can the coin method get you the right answer? Every time. All right, last one. You ready?
Yeah.
What am I grouping together? 6 negative coins and
2.
so if I group those together, there's 6, there's 2. I have no positive numbers, so nothing cancels each other out. I just count the coins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what's the answer?
-8.
Seems to work every time. All right. You have 15 seconds. Pick one of these in box 3 and do it. Pick one of them. Whatever floats your boat. Pick one of them. Do the coin method, and then won't do the coin method ever again. Do the coin method. Tristan, pick one and do the coin method. Well, you could just, instead of write a circle, just put plus, 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 minus, minus if you want to. Who picked this one? What's the answer?
2.
The answer is 2. Who picked this one? What'd you get, Chris?
-7.
Who picked this one? What'd you get, Chris?
Nope, wrong one. Sorry.
Who picked this one? Nobody? The answer is -3. Who picked this one, Chris?
-7.
Okay. Does the coin method work?
Yep.
Right? Works every time, but we got a problem. Remember that from last year?
What the hell?
Oh, cat is stuck.
What's the problem with the coin method?
It's kind of inconvenient with big numbers.
Right. She's even saying bigger numbers. So, do you want to use the coin method?
No.
Heck no. Could we use a coin? Sure. But you're going to be spending a couple hours drawing coins. You're probably going to mess up. So the coin method certainly works. And what I'm going to say is the reason why I force people to do the coin method is the coin method is going to tell us where the rules for both adding and subtracting come from. Okay? If you think about what we did with the coins, those are the rules for adding positive and negative numbers. Well, let's think about it. Okay? So it turns out there are 2 rules. On one of those coin methods, we just had a group of coins and we counted, right? The second type, we had a group of positive and negatives and we kind of canceled things out. That's the second one. On the first one, right, we either had a group of either all positive or all negative numbers. You were grouping together a +3 and a +6, or maybe a -3 and a -6. Here's 2 examples. Hey, this is a +4 and a +2. This is a -4 and -2. In the first case, you're just grouping together coins that have exactly the same signs. How do we get to an answer? For the coins that had exactly the same sign, how do we get to the answer? What did we do?
Yeah,
We just added them. I was going to say we counted. That's the same as adding, right? So when the signs are the same, the rule is you just add the numbers. You ignore the fact they're positive or negative. You just add the numbers. That's it. The second one is when the signs are opposite of each other. That means the first one is positive, the second one's negative. Or the first one's negative and the second one's positive. Here's the example. 4 plus, the opposite, -2. -4 plus, +2. Okay? When we had the coins that were different from each other, we lined them up and then we crossed out. When you cross out, what are you really doing? Are you adding? You're really subtracting. I'll go back to the coin method, not the cat. The coin method for this, check it out. Right here. What's this number right here? What's this number?
4.
What's that number?
2.
We subtracted from the larger group 2 of the positive. So all you're really doing here is subtracting. You're taking the larger number, ignoring its symbol, whether it's positive or negative, and subtracting the smaller of the 2. So when the signs are opposite, what are you really doing? You're subtracting. Okay? Those are the 2 rules for adding integers. One rule says to add the numbers, one rule says to subtract the numbers. So we better write that down. Okay? So let's write that down. Next box, whatever the box number is box 4. The rules for adding. The first one, we'll call it, I don't know, same signs. Write this down, everyone. In box 4, in yellow, right here. The rule says this. If you have 2 numbers that both of them have the same signs and you're adding, that means a plus and a plus or a minus and a minus. Okay? Here are the 2 examples. Check it out. Is the 7 positive or negative? Is the 4 positive or negative? So I'm adding 2 positives. Is the 7 positive or negative? Is the 4 positive or negative? I'm adding 2 negatives. These are same signs. When I point to them, I get the same signs. When I point to them, wait a minute, there's no sign right here. Or is there? We leave off the plus because we're lazy. or efficient, right? There should be a plus right here, +7. So the plus ones are the ones you got, okay, yeah, there really should be a plus. The negative ones, they're going to be a negative right there. Hey, I'm adding 2 negatives. So the rule when the signs are the same, Chris, what did you say we're supposed to do?
Add them.
We just add them. Now, the book is going to be more complicated. Notice what it says. It doesn't say add them. It says add the absolute value of each. Okay, what it really just means is you ignore the fact that one's positive or they're both negative, both positive or both negative. You just add the numbers. Well, how do we do that? That's taking the absolute value. Every student in Algebra 1 ignores this. And just in their brain, they're like, okay, yeah, whatever. I just take the 2 numbers and I add them. Agreed, that's what I did as well too. Mathematically, what you're doing, you're taking the absolute value of both. You have to remember the last step. Was I adding positive numbers or was I adding negative numbers? When you're adding negative numbers, the answer is negative. When you're adding positive numbers, the answer is positive. Now be careful with that staying because when we get to subtraction, things change. I'm talking about when you're adding 2 negatives or adding 2 positives. Does anybody want to be brave and say, I didn't learn this last year? You were in my class. You learned this last year. Now, if I say, you want to be brave and say I didn't master it, I know there's a couple people who I even taught that I know you haven't mastered it. But this is the year you master it because you got to. Right? Sometimes it just simply takes 2 years at this. And your second year is when you figure this out. Okay? So that's the rule for same sign, right? Same sign. So the rule really says I'm supposed to take the absolute value. Absolute values here. What's the absolute value of 7? Absolute value 4. Okay. 7 plus 4 is 11. Done. Now it says we got to use the original sign. We were adding positive, so the answer is positive. When they're negative, we still take the absolute value of both. Absolute value of negative 7 is. Absolute value of negative 4 is. 7 plus 4 is 11. But this time we were adding negatives, so the answer is not 11, it's negative 11. We okay with this? Okay. This is a review, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, kind of sorted for some of you, right? Okay. Let's just do something. Hey, are we adding or subtracting? Are we adding same or different signs?
Same.
So the rule says just add the 2 numbers. What's 12 plus 31?
44.
43. Were we adding positive or negatives?
Negative 43.
So you're giving me an Algebra 1 answer, right? An Algebra 1 answer is they ignore the rule and they say negative 43. Why? They kind of know they've done this before. The rule actually states you're supposed to take the absolute value of both. Okay. Seems like a lot of extra work, and it is. You add the 2 numbers, and then since we're adding negatives, we tack on a negative. I'm 100% okay going from here to here. I do not expect Algebra 1 students to have to think through this process, right? When you get good at this. You should be able to say, negative 43, right? Pre-algebra students last year, no, you had to do this work. This year, yeah, you can jump right to the answer. I don't need to see this, right? What's the answer?
Negative 19.
Aiden, you with me? Okay. Eyes on the board, please. Negative 19, and we're done. Pre-algebra students, I would expect to see the absolute value symbols. I would expect to see 7 plus 12 written on your paper, 19, and then write the final answer, negative 19. For an Algebra 1 student, start, finish. Okay?
That was annoying. So we had to do that last
Well,
year.
agreed, but last year was your, technically it should have been your second year looking at, you're supposed to get introduced in the course before pre-algebra, and then pre-algebra, you're supposed to master this. Algebra 1, I'm not even supposed to teach it, we're just supposed to do it. Well, Algebra 1 teachers figured out a long time ago that some kids need to see it for a 3rd year. Hence this class. All right, box 5, what's the answer? You should be able to do this.
Negative 9.
We good?
Yep.
All right, negative 9. There's all the work. There's your answer. Stop me if I'm going too quick. What's the answer?
1.
3.
3.
Right. Well, the rule has to work even with the simple one. Absolute value of 2 is 2. Absolute value of 1 is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. We're adding positive, so the answer is 3. No, I don't expect you. Okay. Take about 2 minutes to do these 4, box 6. You can always ask Nathaniel. One's wrong. See if you can find your mistake. Good go. How do you think about this? What's your... So the surprising thing is if I ask a kid that knows how to do all this, I say, how do you do this? They're like, I don't know. I just do it. Right? And so, you know, when you have to teach this to someone, you're starting from scratch, it's a different story. You try to teach them the rules. But we all do the same thing. How do you know that 8 times 7 is 56? I don't know. I've memorized it, kind of, sort of. It's the same thing here. You just sort of, I don't know, the two were negative, and I know what I'm adding, so you just add the two numbers. You should be able to verbalize that part, though. We good?
Yep.
I see a bunch of people looking up. All right, Julie, upper left, what you get? Okay. You had to do the work, there's the work. Rowan, bottom left. It's not negative 30.
Oh, that's what I did wrong.
Okay, it's positive 30 because 10 plus 24 is 30. 10 plus 24 is actually 34. But it's not 10, it's 16. So maybe it's not 30, it's 24 and 16? 40, thank you. Chris, I'm not sure what you were saying.
I said negative 39. So I was close.
Where did you get a negative from 24 to 16?
Where did I get a negative?
I don't know.
Whoa. I don't know that. I think I saw a negative sign.
Okay, well, if you saw a negative sign, maybe. These are just ugly numbers. What's the answer?
What's after
Okay. Tristan, you figure out your mistake? The most common mistake in algebra is to take a guess. You get to the answer and you forget.
Forgot to add the negatives.
You forget that there's a negative involved. What's the answer?
Negative.
Negative 140. Okay. This is called dropping the negative. Usually it's in multiplication or division. Occasionally I'll see it for addition. They'll do all this hard work and they'll forget that they were adding two negative numbers. Right? So negative. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right. We're missing something. What are we missing?
Men.
What?
What are we missing? What we just did? Did we just do both cases?
What?
What are we missing in the math?
Subtraction.
We haven't done when the signs are different. All right. So write this down, box 7. Even. Write this down. So the rules for when you're adding signs, we're going to call these opposites or different. Either one's fine. Sometimes I'm not very good at this. Sometimes I'll say opposite signs. Sometimes I'll say different signs. I just mean one is positive and one is negative. But you're still adding these numbers, right? It tells you there's a plus symbol that you'll see. So you know that you're either adding a positive to a negative or you're adding a negative to a positive. Okay? Julie, how do you think of these in your brain when you do these? If I give you this, what do you do? When I give you this problem, what do you do? If we add them together, we get 11, we get the wrong answer. Say again. Okay, keep talking. So what's the answer here? Is what? It's 3. So we did this whole process, and it was kind of like when I asked her as well too. I said, well, what do you do? And they're like, I don't know what I do. I just know the answer is 3, right? But you should be able to verbalize it. I'm going to go back and now ask you, Julie. The answer is 3. What did you do? You made it sound really complicated. What did you really do? You just subtracted the two numbers. That's it. But you subtracted them in a specific order because your teacher told you how to subtract them. And if you had me as a teacher, remember what I said? How do you subtract them? I always say big number minus the small number. I always say big number minus the small number. So here are the steps. You're supposed to take the absolute value of both numbers. Nobody does that. People just look at the numbers and say, I got a 7 and a 4. Julie, what two numbers do I have here? I got a 7 and a 4. And our teacher said, then you're supposed to look at the two numbers and say, which one's bigger, 7 or 4? Since 7 is bigger, I do 7 minus 4. Right? So that's this next step. I just say big number minus small number. But technically, I've already stripped away whether they're positive or negative. I'm just looking at the two numbers. One's going to be bigger than the other. Unless they're the same number, then the answer is 0. Okay, you get an answer. We got 3. But Julie, why is the answer 3 and not negative 3? Because you had more positives than negatives. 7's bigger. Now you got to be careful over here because what do you mean by bigger? You're talking about the real value. 4 is a larger number than negative. So I don't like it when they say which one's bigger, except for the subtraction. The very last step, what I like to say is, Julie, you got more negatives and more positives. That's why this answer is, that's how I think it through. If that doesn't work for you, stick with what your teacher taught you last year. For me, I'm looking at the two signs, same or different. Hey, they're different. When they're different and I'm adding, ironically, I'm going to subtract. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So when I'm adding two numbers and they're opposite or different signs, I subtract the two numbers, big minus small. And then I say more positives and more negatives. More positives, more positives, more negatives. On this one, I got more positive. That's why the answer is positive 3. On this one, I have more negatives, which is why the answer is negative 3. So this is, it's what it says in the book. It says, use the sign of the largest absolute value. That's just big fancy words for, did you have more positives or more negatives? How many people, before we do any more practice, I don't need to practice. I know how to do this. I am 100% confident. Right? That's over half the class, right? So about half the class is admitting right now that I'm not good at this. So there's two types of those students. When you say I'm not good at it, does that mean that I just know I'm going to get to the wrong answer, or I have no clue of what I'm doing? Those are two completely different. The kid that's like, I know I'm probably going to make a mistake. I know what to do, but I'm going to make a mistake. We'll get there. I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the kid that, like, I don't know any of these rules. I really don't know what to do. That's the kid I need to see for tutoring. The kid that says I'm going to make a mistake, well, I'm in that group too. I'm going to make a mistake. It's easy to make a mistake, especially with adding and subtracting. If you know the rules and you know how to do them, I'm saying we're in a good category. We'll work on making mistakes. But if you're in the category of, you just showed me both rules and I'm completely clueless, that's a tutoring thing. Okay. Hey, same or different signs?
Different.
This one's negative and this one's positive. Piper. The rule when there are different signs and you're adding is what? Add or subtract. Okay, and this is how I typically do when someone gets something wrong. If those of you had me last year, remember, I'd say, hey, same or different signs. And they would say different. And I would say add or subtract. And you'd say subtract. And then I would say, well, subtract. Big minus small. 18 minus 7 is 11. Piper, do we have more negatives or more positives? That's why the answer is negative 11. Now, if you want to follow the rules as they're stated, this is all the work, right? But here's how I look at it. I'm adding. Okay, great. Same or different signs. One's negative, one's positive. Different. Different means subtract. Big minus small. Big number, small number. 18 minus 7 is 11. And I have more negatives than positive. The answer is negative 11. This is not how I taught this in, I'm saying the pace of this. This is not how I do it in pre-algebra. This ain't pre-algebra, this is algebra 1. This is review. If you're still struggling at this, you're struggling at 18 minus 7, that's a big different story than I don't know what to do. You know what to do, I'm saying we're in a good position. Hey, same or different signs? Big minus small gives you what? 11 minus 6 gives you 5. More negatives, more positives. That's why the answer is negative 5. Following the rules, you're taking the absolute value of both, Then do big minus small. Use the sign of whichever one you had the most of, and more negatives and positives, and answer's -5. Okay?
Yep.
Well, let's see. Box, what is it, 8? Well, 8. Yes, Chris.
It is. Can I tell you the answer?
What's the answer?
14.
How do you know?
Because you just know that subtract.
Okay, so 20 minus 6 is,
14.
and do you have more negatives or more positives?
More positive.
That's why the answer is 14. If you want to follow the rules as they are stated, there's the rules. There's a lot of bells. We eat lunch second. This is telling the first eaters of lunch is you're done lunch. Or is that that's even done? Is that the second one?
Yeah, it's 20 minutes.
Okay. All right, 14 is correct. Chris got it right. All right, you have 4 problems. Do all 4, please. Box 9. We're almost done, by the way. We will finish early. Well, there is a back, but we're almost done. We're almost done. Sophia's not impressed. Rylan is never impressed.
I'm falling asleep.
Josie's falling asleep. I'm trying to decide whether Lily has an angry face or a bored face. It's one of the two. She's angry that I'm making her sit through the same class that I literally taught last year. Anna's thinking about the 5 miles that she ran yesterday, that she smoked every boy in the class.
She wishes.
Oh.
Apparently you were walking.
I was walking.
I was tired. I ran late from the
Please.
I was tired.
That's
why you start off with a jog.
I went always the wrong way. I went up and down, always the purple.
So you got lost in what you're saying. Well, that's part of being cross country is running the right route.
I don't know where to go. Did you get a burger? No, I just ran up to the like 12. I would have gotten a burger at 8:05. I should have. I would have been.
Comes out of the burger first, you look up.
Tristan, you done?
-7.
All right, Tristan says we're done. Let's go to Tristan. Upper left. What you get? 6 is the correct answer. Very good. Okay. Landon, bottom left. What you got?
Give me a second.
And this is how I determine that you haven't done any work today.
So he's doing homework.
I know he is, but the rule for homework in class is you must do the worksheet at the same time.
Which one?
Bottom left. Now, not Josie,
Yeah.
but Landon. It's not, Landon, come on. This one isn't that bad.
My brain is like failing me.
Same or different signs?
Different.
So add or subtract?
Subtract.
Subtract the numbers.
Good boy. Wait, I got it.
Aren't you the one that gets A's on the test?
Give me a second.
Don't
7.
More
-7.
-7. Thank you.
I should
That was pain. All right. You want the next one? Who's got this one? Upper right. Rylan, please stop. Porter, thank you for volunteering. Upper right. What do you got? If you haven't done it, just say didn't do it. Why not? Come on. The rule in class is if you want to start your homework, which I see you're doing right now, you have to do the worksheet. You have to do the worksheet. Porter, is the answer positive or negative?
No, negative.
Well, how do you know it's negative? Say it louder. Because there's way more negatives than positive. All right, who's got the real answer?
I do.
Okay. I got a negative 628 is what I got. Am I wrong? Is it 627?
No,
Okay.
it's 628.
All right. And the last one, class, what's the answer?
-92.
Negative 92. Does that sound reasonable? I'm thinking 92 is not a reasonable answer. Maybe 192?
I'm sorry, you had the one.
All right, now everybody's got to stop what they're doing and pay attention. Okay, so this is not new, right? But here is the issue when both rules, you see box 10? And when you're doing these quickly and you're not paying attention, right? I just gave you a whole bunch where all we were doing was adding or all we were doing was subtracting. Now they're interspersed. All right, I'm going to do this very quickly. I'm going to point, and you're going to tell me whether we're adding or subtracting. You ready? Everybody with me?
Subtracting. Adding.
I got both answers. Are we adding or subtracting?
Full.
We are subtracting.
Adding.
And who's lost in the game we're playing? Because I'm only hearing about two voices. We're adding.
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 Subtracting. Subtracting. Adding. Subtracting.
All right. So that's the key there. Just you got to be careful. Do this slowly and methodically. I'm skipping this. I'm going to the very last thing. For those of you that didn't, here are the answers. Really? Okay. So these are all pre-algebra type questions. Algebra 1 questions would be something like that. So we got a big, long list of numbers that we might either add or subtract. We don't know. By PEMDAS, what does it tell us about addition?
Go from left to right.
We got to go and subtract. We go from left to right. So we're going to go from left to right. Here's my technique. Right? You don't do it with your pencil, scratch through, but maybe with your thumb. You're going to take your finger and your thumb. You're going to cover up all but the two leftmost numbers. I can do it with PowerPoint, right? So we're going to go from left to right. So with my magical blue box here, I will cover up the. Use your finger or something so that all you're looking at are these two numbers. Chris, are we adding or subtracting here? We are adding. 6 plus 12 is?
17.
18.
18.
Were we adding positive or negatives?
We're doing negatives.
So therefore the answer is?
Negative 18.
So I write negative 18. Right, there's the scratch work. And then I uncover what's here and drop it straight down. Yes?
Yep.
So I uncover and I drop it straight down. Now I got two more numbers, right? So I cover this up with my magic blue box, your finger, right? Chris, are we adding or subtracting here?
We're subtracting.
We are subtracting. Big minus small gives you?
Negative.
18 minus 15 gives you? You can do this.
All right, hold on.
Is it 1?
I want to say yes.
Don't say yes, Chris.
Don't say yes. It's 3. Chris, do we have more negatives or positives?
We have more positives. I mean negatives. Dang
So
it.
therefore the answer is not 3, it's
Negative 3.
okay. So we do all that scratch work, we get negative 3. I uncover my animations out of order here and drop down what's left, and now we can handle it from here. All right, Chris, last one, adding or subtracting?
We are.
Well, I'll just say, you have not said anything wrong unless I ask you to calculate something. Every time I ask you the more important question, are we adding or subtracting? Do we have more negatives or positives? You told me exactly the right thing. So I'm just saying, you know what to do. It's the calculation that's kicking your butt. All right, are we adding or subtracting?
We're adding.
So add.
Okay. So it's 3 plus 2. This is an easy one. That's 5.
Okay. Are we adding negatives or positives?
We're adding negatives.
So therefore the answer is? You did it. Right?
Yay.
All that work and for what?
All that work for a measly answer of -5.
Like, this is what I do. That's all I do.
All right. Everyone, that includes Rylan, that includes Landon, that includes Josie, that includes Porter, that includes Roland, that includes Aiden. Everyone do box 11, please.
Did I get it right?
This is a different problem.
Shut up. Shut up, Josie. I don't want to hear your thing.
At 4 is -8. At 6, we got -3. But then you drop down what you did. You just did this right here.
And you
Covering up.
choose to hang
And I
out.
dropped down +4 plus -7.
Friend group, which includes you.
You don't get to do this.
I guess I'm
You have
leaving.
to go left to right. So you just did that part right there. You got -8. So -8 right there.
It's just limited, Josie.
Now, I'm going to uncover my finger and you're going to write what's left.
Leaving you for the game.
Right, what's left.
Get.
Plus 4 plus -7. signs. So does it mean add or subtract? All right, take mine small gives you negative 4.
It is.
That gives you negative 4.
Hate it.
Subtraction what you just did. Subtraction what you just did. Uncover what is left. We got yourself. That's the answer.
Hate it.
Chris, you done? Both of them? Rylan, are you done?
No, got one prize. Last prize.
Rylan? Landon? Josie?
Yep.
Hey, you four, I gotta break up, start the next class. Can't take it anymore.
I understand.
Should I stay here in the seat though?
I'll just say, last time when I broke you up and I moved you, the rest were perfect.
No, they weren't. They were worse.
That's actually not true.
No, that ain't true.
They were.
Does anybody need help?
It's only because we're listening.
No. No. No, and put it away, please,
What is it?
and get back to work.
Quit being nosy.
Did you get the first one? All right, what'd you get? First one, on the left, what'd you get? Negative 11? Well, how could that possibly? Look at all those numbers. The answer's negative. So from left to right, negative 2 plus negative 6 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. And negative 4 plus negative 7 is, in fact, negative 11. So we do, in fact, good job, get negative 11. Kylie, did you finish this one or no?
You just call me Kylie.
Kaylee, did you finish it? I got a lot of Kylies and Kayleys this year. I'm gonna be in big trouble. Nathaniel, yay or nay? You got negative 13. What's negative 2 plus negative 4, Nathaniel?
I'm not gonna answer.
Nathan.
Yeah.
I thought it was Nathaniel.
Not that. That's so like so.
Is it really Nathaniel, or did I make that up?
You just made that up.
Okay.
He's not a British.
I have 3 other I have 2 other Nathaniels in other classes. All right, Nathan. Nathan. Let's go. Negative 2 plus negative 4.
Negative 6.
Plus 3. You said negative 6 plus 3. So you got negative 6 plus 3. Sometimes you got to visually see it. Same or different signs? Does it mean add or subtract? The signs are the same, you always add. Signs are different, you always subtract the numbers. Ignore Nathan. Ignore the signs and just subtract. So more negatives, more positives.
More negative.
So the answer actually is negative 3 plus negative 10. Same or different signs?
Same.
Means add or subtract.
Negative 13.
That's it. Negative 13. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Online learners, you got any questions?
Nope, I'm good.
All right. That was the whole class. Tomorrow we will do subtraction.
No, guys, you're funny.
That's today, not tomorrow, yeah? Who collected homework?
No, I did not. I didn't.
I know, but I want you to put it in the right box. I think that's geometry.
Jennifer, yeah.
Go over there. All right, e-learners, I will catch you tomorrow. See ya, Haley and Sierra.